Anthropic just released a major update, Claude Sonnet 4.5, beat. And in critical testing, this new model scored an unexpected kind of verified victory over the current reigning champion, GPT-5.
Yeah, that victory wasn't just, general smarts. Specifically, 4.5 absolutely dominated the single most critical metric for software builders right now, these verified real-world coding tasks. We really have to unpack what this means for your strategic thinking moving forward.
Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission today is pretty straightforward, separating the marketing story from the actual empirical performance data. We're looking at a detailed three-part testing strategy pulled right from the source material.
Exactly, and we're building out a complete strategic framework for you. First up, we'll cover the surprising technical specs of Sonnet 4.5. Then we'll dive into the 3 key performance tests, one by one: content, context, and then the tooling integration test. And we wrap it all up by helping you figure out how to choose the right AI brain, for your organization's specific needs.
Okay, let's start with the hard numbers then. Sonnet 4.5 dropped September 29th, 2025. It's a really compelling release because it offers, well, better, faster performance while, remarkably, keeping the exact same cost as its predecessor, Sonnet 4.0.
Right. That cost parity makes the performance jump absolutely huge, especially when you look at its major advantage, coding dominance. We are talking about the SWE-bench metric here. That's like the gold standard for verified real-world software engineering tasks.
And the numbers reported in the sources are, well, they seem pretty undeniable. Sonnet 4.5 scored an impressive 77 to 82% on those SWE-bench tasks. That score actively and demonstrably outperformed GPT-5 in verified code generation.
It's a profound game changer for engineering teams, honestly. The real-world impact is already showing up. One CEO quoted in the source material mentioned 4.5 handling over 30 hours of autonomous coding per week. Per week.
Wow.
That frees up expert engineers for the high-level architectural stuff, in way less time than before.
Slight pause. Whoa.
Oh.
Just imagine scaling that verified autonomous capability, like to 1 billion queries across your entire code base. That's not just helpful. That's a genuine workflow automation happening.
Exactly. And this performance boost is proving really consistent, too, offering better memory and coherence for those long, multi-step projects. Plus, 4.5 seems to have this specialized deep domain knowledge in tricky areas: finance, medicine, law, detailed STEM fields.
Okay, that 77% is a fantastic number, no doubt. But is 77% truly a game changer, or is it maybe just the psychological edge of beating GPT-5? Do we actually see that, marginal gain reflected consistently in developer productivity day to day?
If you need really high confidence output, yes. Its verified 77 to 82% SWE-bench score makes it the industry-leading choice for programming problems right now. Pretty clear-cut.
Okay. Moving on to the first of the 3 functional tests, content creation. The task here was pretty simple but crucial. Generate a professional HTML email report about sleep quality, starting completely from scratch, 0 system prompt given.
Right. This test kind of strips away all the fancy prompt engineering and just checks the raw baseline capability. GPT 4.1. It gave functional but minimal formatting. Sonnet 4.5 delivered this rich, colorful HTML output, impressive statistical data, showed really strong base knowledge right out of the gate. Very strong.
However, GPT-5 ultimately took this round. It produced the most professional, sort of high-grade corporate structure. And critically, this seems like the key difference, it included actual source attribution for the data used.
Yeah, sourcing is like the hidden cost of content generation, isn't it? If you use AI output in any business context, you have to verify the source. GPT-5 providing that attribution automatically just gave it a massive leg up in reliability and, professional polish.
So why did GPT-5 win this round, despite 4.5's rich, colorful output?
Superior structure and that reliable source attribution proved critical for professional, high-stakes communication quality. Okay, next up, let's tackle the context challenge. Context window, that's basically the amount of information the AI can hold in its short-term memory at one time. Think of it like stacking Lego blocks of data.
And the advertised spec for Sonnet 4.5 is 200,000 tokens, which honestly feels a bit restricted these days. Competitors are hitting millions, and even GPT-5 is advertised at over 400,000 tokens.
Right.
So the testers set up test 2 to really push the model hard. They used Apple's entire 10K SEC filing. That's a massive document, just under 100,000 tokens. And a 10K isn't just long. It's designed to be complex, legally dense, full of jargon. It tests not just memory, but the model's ability to handle that high-stakes, jargon-heavy stuff.
And the results. Initially, they were kind of a statistical wash. Sonnet 4.5 scored 4.3 out of 5.0, barely edging out GPT-5's 4.2. Barely. But the cost difference was really crucial here.
Right. For only slightly better basic performance, Sonnet 4.5 costs roughly double GPT-5. We're talking like 30 cents versus 10 to 12 cents per run. That is a significant difference when you start thinking about scale.
So that's the strategic friction point right there, isn't it? You get verified code dominance or maybe massive capacity, but it comes at a, 250% higher cost per task? When is that premium actually justified for you?
That is the core question.
Yeah.
But the test had this really bizarre twist. This is the game-changing discovery. When they connected it through OpenRouter, the model suddenly accessed a 1 million token context window.
Wow. Okay, that's 5 times the advertised amount. That access dramatically changes the model's viability for, massive document analysis and those long-form memory projects. It strongly suggests OpenRouter is somehow hitting a beta or maybe an enterprise version of the Claude API that isn't public yet.
Yeah, that tells us we need to treat these vendors less like static APIs and maybe more like strategic partners whose capabilities can actually change depending on that integration layer we use.
Absolutely. So the main reasons to even bother with OpenRouter seem to be stability, maybe unified billing, but crucially, accessing that sort of secret 1 million token capacity.
So if 4.5 costs double for similar basic context performance, why should someone bother setting up that OpenRouter connection?
That 1 million token capacity via OpenRouter is pretty essential for serious, high-volume, context-heavy document analysis and those really long-form projects.
Okay, finally, let's turn to test 3, tool calling and integration complexity. The goal here was to handle a complex task needing multiple tools like email, calendar, web search with just minimal high-level prompting.
Yeah, and the first attempt, the sort of direct tool calling where you just dump a bunch of options into one single master agent, that failed repeatedly. The model suffered from prompt drift, poor decision-making, just didn't work well.
Right, and this is where architectural planning mattered more than just raw model performance. The sub-agent approach, however, worked flawlessly. The model successfully managed the whole workflow: research using a designated perplexity call, then contact retrieval, and finally email generation for a complex multi-step task, all coordinated.
Exactly. Sonnet 4.5 seems to excel when it has only 2 or 3 specialized tools and very structured workflows. The sources really confirm it struggles when you just dump too many tools into a single master agent. You absolutely have to enforce that specialization.
Yeah, I still wrestle with prompt drift and tool selection myself, even in fairly simple agents. This specialization idea, this sort of mandate to limit tools per agent, it makes immediate architectural sense if you're trying to scale these things reliably.
So what is the one crucial architectural takeaway here for managing tools across complex AI workflows?
Use specialized subagents. Limit each one to just 2 or 3 tools, instead of overloading a single, sprawling master agent. Seems key. Mid-roll sponsor, read placeholder.
Okay, so the key takeaway, when we synthesize this entire performance analysis, it's critical. The days of just having one model for everything, they are absolutely over. We really need to build a strategic decision framework based on specialization.
Right, so let's summarize those strategic choice points for you. You should probably choose Sonnet 4.5 when superior verified coding assistance is really the mission-critical thing, or when deep domain knowledge is crucial, like in finance or STEM, also for complex multi-step automations, or when you absolutely must leverage that 1 million token OpenRouter advantage for dealing with massive context.
Yeah, and you probably stick with GPT-5 when cost efficiency is your main priority for simpler, high-volume tasks, or when reliable automated source attribution is necessary for professional documents you're generating.
Okay.
Or maybe you primarily just need highly polished, formal business communication and reports. GPT-5 seems better there.
And, of course, if you need a truly massive context window like dealing with enormous documents, far exceeding even that million tokens, you might need to look at other models, maybe like Gemini 2.5 Flash, which specialize solely in that really deep capacity.
But the single most important architectural finding, it still remains that specialized sub-agent pattern. That is the non-negotiable lesson here, I think. To scale reliably, you really have to distribute the work hierarchically. A master agent coordinating specialized research agents, email agents, whatever they need to be.
So the final word here seems to be that Sonnet 4.5 isn't the universal best model out there, but it has definitely emerged as an exceptionally powerful, highly specialized tool, particularly where verified coding capability and that deep contextual memory are mission critical for you.
And, if ROI is king, you have to run a complex calculation.
Yeah,
How much performance improvement is truly necessary to justify doubling your token cost? That's the strategic friction point, the question you absolutely must resolve before you deploy anything at scale.
that's a great provocative thought to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the source material. And remember to run your own comparative tests with your actual private data before making any final strategic decisions.